We've reached the point where you have the opportunity to ask a question of the other candidates. I've frankly never done this with three. So we'll start with Jim. Do you have a question for either of the other two candidates or something that you'd like them to address?
Pass.
Ryan.
Yes, I have a question for Mr. Munafo. If elected to Precinct 3 seat, how would you get my generation more involved and keep them involved, and how would you interpret or get your generation and the older generations to accept their ideas and new ways of approaching things?
Well, I think one of the things that come from experience and age is knowing what things work and what things don't work. And through that experience, you're able to recognize that even great intentions don't necessarily perform well. And so what we want to do is show that through that experience that there is something valuable there, and that knowledge is something that can be used by the community. The young people of this community need to participate in the process. And they need to be, I didn't unfortunately think of myself as the older generation 8 years ago when I first took this seat. And I guess things change over time. Oh, that's what we're talking about. Anyways, the whole point is that we need to work together and we need to trust one another, that we're doing the right things for the right reasons. And the best reason is that we want to serve the town of Barnstable the best that we can. And everybody should have that as a goal. And if not, then they need to see how that they can participate in that and become part of that, because it's really the best for everyone.
Thank you. Satisfied? Mike, do you have a question for either of the other two candidates?
Yes, for Mr. Munafo. Why did you vote for a contract modification for the town manager, not knowing the costs or having a plan to fill a vacancy?
Well, I'd like to disagree with not knowing the cost. The exact cost, yeah. But did I know it was going to be expensive? Yes, I did. I voiced, some objections early in regards to different things that you have to do. Coming up and paying him that long, I didn't want to pay him for that long, but that's what he said he would do in order to make it leave. We actually had the best interest of the town manager in mind at the time, and also the best interest of the community at that time. And so there was a balance. But I think if you look at what it's cost to replace other department managers over the years, that those fixed costs are just going to be that. The search committees, different type of people and professionals, whenever there's a vacancy, we've been fortunate. We're not like other communities in changing the town manager every 3 or 4 years. We haven't done it in 12, and so now we're going to have an opportunity to do it again. So those are costs that are above and beyond the salary costs, and those we pretty much knew at the time of the vote. Still not as desirable as one would want, but really serving the best interests of the people of Barnstable was really more important. There was another part of the question.
Yeah, the plan to fill a vacancy.
The plan to fill the vacancy is pretty typical. So you have an acting town manager for a period of time while you go through the process. You look at other communities like I think it's Wellfleet, and I think Chatham as well, also had to replace the town manager. And it was a considerable amount of time before they were able to get the right person in there. But it happens and it takes time. But not knowing the process would mean you didn't know what to do. And so I'd have to disagree with that. I knew what to do.
Satisfied?
No. We had a debate candidates night on the 13th, I think, and Mr. Munafo clearly stated that the buyout costs were $230,000, which all estimates now aren't even close to that. Can you address that?
In a minute.
What happens is this. There are the buyout costs, and then the add-ons. The buyout cost is the buyout cost, and we're talking about roughly $230,000 for the buyout of his contract. Now, when we talk about vacation time, well, he had that coming. He's going to get that one way or the other anyways. We're talking about sick time. He has that coming. He's going to get that anyways. Are we talking about the cost for search for a committee? That's a separate issue to me. That's not the same issue. And yet everybody wants to collude them all together because they come up with a lump sum when it comes to money. But if you want to cost, what's it going to cost to replace the town manager, that's a different question. If you're going to ask about what's it going to cost for the buyout of the contract of the town manager, that's a different question. But to bind the two together and make it one, that's truly not really being realistic.